Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abdel Kadri from University of Maryland, and I would like to welcome you all to this important webinar for the Society of Risk Analysis, the African chapter. Let me at first invite Dr. Bernard Gadakoubi to give a small introduction about Society of Risk Analysis African chapter. By the way, Dr. Bernard is a senior risk assessor at Toxicology Excellence of Risk Assessment in Cincinnati, Ohio. TERA is the biggest non-profit organization in United States that deal with the issues of risk assessment. Dr. Bernard, it's all yours. You are muted. You are muted, please.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Kadri, and welcome everybody. Well, SRA Africa is a non-profit professional organization that aims to bring together risk scientists in Africa and risk scientists interested in Africa to address health and environmental problems. Our members come from academia, the public and private sectors, and include researchers, practitioners, policymakers, and related stakeholders. We've been building a professional network since 2018 through regional groups, social media, and conferences with the aim to share experiences and learn from each other. So SRA Africa is a fundamental component of risk reduction related capacity building in Africa, and is a regional organization of the International Society for Risk Analysis, SRA.org, if you would like to read more about it. Basically, the Society for Risk Analysis is expanding in Africa, and as I stated earlier, in 2018, we formed SRA Africa in Cape Town, South Africa. And then we are looking for professionals who are currently working in or interested in becoming involved in the fields of risk analysis, human and ecological risk assessment, risk identification, risk communication, and risk management. SRA Africa is a great place to learn and to network with others in your field. If you are here and you have not yet joined SRA Africa, I would like to invite you to join us. You can write to email Dr. Kadri, myself, Bernard Gadagui. I think on the flyer, we have the email addresses of all the executives. Dr. or Professor Mary Gulumian and Charlene Andrews, Aino Adeogun, as well as Mary Rosenfield and Emma Anyika from Kenya. So that's all for now. You are all welcome to the webinar, and it's great to see you here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bernard. And now I would like to invite Dr. Kimasong Nikasas. Dr. Kimasong is the chairman of the Department of Geography at University of Buea from Cameroon. And Dr. Kimasong has extensive work on the area of effect of climate change. Dr. Kimasong, it's all yours now.
Thank you, Adele. Thank you. Once more, good evening from Cameroon to all the audience. We crave your indulgence that we had to come in a bit late because of some technical challenges. And as we were talking, there was a power outage. So we are about arranging it. Meanwhile, I will be talking if you are getting me. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir, we do. And also can see you very clear. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Today is a great day for us, is that our partnership with the University of Maryland has gone to the dimension that we are participating in an online seminar. So I use the opportunity to present briefly what is the University of Buea, what they are doing in the domain of climate research and risk assessment, and then equally the candidate who is representing us today. I am doing this on behalf of the team of 3 that have been networking and partnering with the University of Maryland, Professor Hale and Professor Asongalem, who are unavoidably absent because of a meeting. There is a very big meeting within the university system. So the University of Buea, as you see on the slide, that is an overview. It's a university that is built around a concentrated landscape of about 10 hectares and more, but it has also some detached institutions, like we have a higher teachers training college for technical schools in another city, which is Kumba, where we are presenting is another institution, the Faculty of Earth, which is a little bit detached from the main campus. We are counting about 13 to 14 faculties and schools in the University of Buea, with a population of about 30,000, but it is a young university because it became a full-fledged university only in 1993. So we are talking of a university that should be about 32 years old. So it might not be up to the standards of the University of Maryland, but it is recognized as a university that contributes its own quota to scientific research. Continue. So with that now, the key faculties, this is our main block. You can call it the administrative block. That is where you have the Vice Chancellor. And then this is the Faculty of Social and Management Sciences that host the program of geography that is the reference of climate change issues. Even though all the other faculties are involved in risk assessment, they are particularly involved in the risk that is created by climate change, but the central faculty that coordinates and gives expert ideas is the Faculty of Social and Management Sciences, with the university, with the Department of Geography being central. If you look at the programs, those are the programs in the Department of Geography, and within it, climatology takes a very central stage. So at the very boarding phase, be it undergraduate, they start training and edifying learners on the different methods and processes that are involved in researching into climate variability and the impact, particularly with emphasis on vulnerability, assessing the risk and measures that are used for adaptation and mitigations. One of our products of that program has been Mr. Randy, who is here seated by me. He has gone through us undergraduate, and I had the opportunity of coordinating his undergraduate long paper. I was his supervisor at the master's level, where he worked and came out with an expert write-up dissertation on climate variability and the risk assessment within the livestock sector within Nkuh subdivision. I still have the opportunity of being his co-supervisor now at the PhD. He is into the 3rd year PhD, so he has done 1 successful year of research, and he is working on climate variability and risk assessment on food security in general. We have published about 10 to 15 articles in the domain of climate risk assessment. And then as an individual, he has done extensive research equally in that domain. So we found him worthy enough to bring him into the program, and we are very confident in what he has to present, and we are quite sure that we will gain a lot of insights from the wonderful topic that he is to present, with the risk assessment of climate variability on food security systems within the Mbum Plateau. So, Dr. Adele, at this junction, let me hand you over to Ramsey, who is our presenter of the day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, it's all yours, Randy. Go ahead, please.
Professor, please hold on. That's what I said that we should open it and okay. Good day, distinguished members of Society for Risk Analysis, esteemed colleagues, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to be here today to discuss and contribute to this discourse. The topic I am presenting on, climate variability risks in the northwest region of Cameroon, impact and adaptation in food crop production on the Mbum Plateau, is one which lies ahead of Africa's development challenges. In my presentation, I am going to be analyzing the trends and magnitude of climate variability on the Mbum Plateau, its impacts on food crop production, adaptation measures, and recommendation measures. As weather patterns keep fluctuating, there has been increasing and far-reaching effects on agricultural production, and particularly on food crop production. However, my presentation outlines go as follows. We have the general background of the study, statement of the research problem, right down to conclusion and recommendation. Globally, agriculture plays a vital role in sustaining rural activities, human life, and more others. This was emphasized by Food and Agricultural Organization in 2018, and they further emphasized that in the developing countries, it provides over 66% of jobs to the population. Yet, the IPCC and Resina in 2007 emphasized that weather patterns have generally been erratic, manifesting through the late onset of rainfall, early cessation, prolonged dryness, increasing heat waves, and other extreme events. In 2023, the Food and Agricultural Organization reported that approximately 733 million people face hunger, equivalent to 1 in 11 people globally and 1 in 5 people in Africa. They further indicated that 2.33 billion people are facing food insecurity, with a greater proportion in the African continent. The research works of Naomi in 2002 and United Nations Environmental Protection in 2003 indicate that climate change and variability around the Lake Chad region of Africa has affected about 50% of agricultural production, leading to a reduction of 3 to 50% in annual yields and affecting about 5 million farmers. Cameroon harbors extensive agricultural belts, where some of these agricultural production systems have been affected by the irregularities of climate patterns, which have resulted to severe loss in tons of cereals, tubers, and vegetables. This was indicated in the study of Amawa et al. In 2012 and Kemerson and Ramsey in 2025. Statement of the research problem. The Mbum Plateau in the northwest region is an agricultural zone which provides jobs to about 120,911 people. The Mbum Plateau has currently been facing increasing climate variability. The incidence is manifesting through the late onset of rainfall, early cessation, false start, sporadic rainfall, as well as increasing drought events, which have therefore a perennial benefit that farmers derive from these very important and significant activities. And this has led to severe food insecurity. Today, farmers on the Mbum Plateau find it difficult to cope to the challenges of climate variability. Climate variability risks have become very common on this plateau, and farmers are unable to timely deal with these challenges as their local adaptation measures becomes ineffective to yield permanent successes. Communities within the Mbum Plateau, which were considered as breadbasket, are today faced with abject food shortages, which has resulted to increasing food insecurity. It is therefore against this background that this study examines the trends and magnitude of climate variability on the Mbum Plateau, which is found in the northwest region of Cameroon. We have the research objectives. The study analyzes climate variability trends and magnitude on the Mbum Plateau. It examines climate variability risks on food crop production on the Mbum Plateau, identifies the adaptation strategies of food crop farmers, and lastly, recommendation measures. This study, the significance of the study is that the study will support and contribute to Sustainable Development Goal 2, which target hunger and starvation, and Goal 3, which target climate action. This will therefore help in reinforcing the global effort to build a resilient agricultural system. Furthermore, the study also raises awareness among stakeholders about the reality and urgency of climate-related risks to agriculture. It will enhance the understanding of how climate variability affects the availability, accessibility, and stability of food crops, which are essential for addressing hunger and malnutrition. By identifying the various areas affected and the crops, this study will also guide targeted intervention and inform farmers on policymakers which adaptation efforts which are needed. This study, however, serves as an educational tool to increase farmers' understanding of climate risks and empower them to adopt adaptive measures to safeguard their livelihood. The Mbum Plateau is found in the Donga Mountain Division, covering a surface area of 1,400 square kilometers. It is located between longitude 10 to 40 degrees east, 10 to 55 degrees east, and latitude 6 to 26 degrees north and 6 to 35 degrees north. It currently harbors a population size of 120,911 people. Research methodology. The study adopted a mixed research design involving the quantitative and qualitative techniques. The quantitative technique helped the researcher to simply analyze the trends of climate variability, the trends of food crop production, as well as the trend of food crop prices. Whereas the qualitative technique enabled the researcher to look at the perception of farmers on climate variability, the challenges of adaptation, as well as the trend of food crop production. The targeted population of these studies were farming communities, local councils, agro-based institutions, weather observers on the Mbum Plateau. And the study adopted a simple random sampling techniques, whereas 350 farmers were chosen and they were used for questionnaire administration. Added to the questionnaire, there were additional primary data sources from field observation, interviews with stakeholders, focus group discussion, which were supplemented by secondary data sources obtained from magazines, online and offline libraries, as well as newspapers. Climate data were downloaded from online sources using the NASA platform, and they were complemented by manual data collected from the Nkuh weather station, which was further complemented by the farmers' perception on climate variability. Quantitative data was analyzed with the use of inferential statistical technique, whereas relationship, comparison, regressions were derived. On the other hand, qualitative data were analyzed using descriptive statistical technique, whereas percentile, frequency, standard deviation, and ranges were established. Climate variability trends were analyzed on multidimensional time scale, that is seasonal, monthly, annual, and interannual basis, using trend analysis, while the Nkuh statistical tests help in establishing comparison in food crop production over the years. Findings of the studies were presented according to the objective of the study. The first objective, which targeted climate variability trends. The first aspect analyzed were the monthly temperature and rainfall conditions on the Mbum Plateau. The essence of analyzing the monthly trends of climate parameters is important for farmers to do timely planting and timely harvesting, as well as controlling diseases and pests, and also to determine which crop is suitable for the season. We did the analysis and discovered that rainfall conditions are unevenly distributed on the Mbum Plateau, with more of the rain happening in July to October. Then from November to about early March, rainfall drops. Then for temperature conditions, we noted that there were also shifts in the pattern, with more of temperature conditions occurring from November to about March. And this was very possible because this period is a period of dry season, and temperatures simply drop starting June right to October. This is because it's a rainy season month, and most at times relative humidity covers the atmosphere. Then we went further to analyze the seasonal temperature variability, which is another principal climate parameter on the Mbum Plateau. And we noted that it was not only dry season temperatures which were increasing, there were also increase in wet season temperatures. Then we went further to also look at the annual trends of climate, of temperature conditions on the Mbum Plateau. Then we noted that in the early years, that is 1981, temperatures were favorable and were even low. Then around 1989, it went up above the normal. Then from there, it falls from starting from 1991 to about 1997. And from 1999, the temperature condition was very high and dropped again in 2009. Where from there, it has been low, but currently the thing is showing an increasing trend. Then we also look at the condition of rainfall, and we discovered that early years had very favorable and high rainfall. Then about 1997, rainfall started dropping. Then it further dropped in 2001 with a steady drop, and went to 2013 where there was an increase in rainfall condition, and around 2018 it drops again. Then to make meaning of this analysis, we had to do the interannual standard precipitation index. It's a hydrology and climatological tool that is used in assessing drought or wet conditions. Then we noted that early years again, they were the rainfall conditions were above normal, indicated by the positive values of rainfall. Then around 2089, rainfall started dropping. It fluctuated with an increasing trend and fall again in 1999. From there, from 2000 to 2014, rainfall has actually been very low on the Mbum Plateau. Then starting 2015, it went to a maximum, then drop again in 2019 and up to date. The changes in precipitation index indicate that rainfall is unevenly distributed on the Mbum Plateau. And this explains the reason why at times or within years, agricultural production varies with many extreme events and so on. From here, we had to look at the type of farming, the preparation techniques. I will note that most of the farmers were into slash and burn. Then just about 14% of the farmers were practicing manual weedings with hoes. Then plate B show a farmland which is being under cultivation. Then we have plate C which shows a farmland being prepared with fire. It is, however, important to note here that climate variability risks in the Mbum Plateau has been enhanced by this type of subsistence farming method. If we look on plate C, we can see enormous amount of smoke being sent into the atmosphere, and it contributes to the level of carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas in the atmosphere. When it hangs in the atmosphere, it forms what we call a blanketing effect. Then it gets the earth surface heat, and the heat generates high temperatures, which later affects farmers and crops as well as their health condition. We look at the production techniques, and we noted that most of the farmers were into mixed cropping, a situation where many crops are being planted on a piece of land. This is always done in order to diversify risks. Then on place C, we have an incidence of intercropping. Here, many plants are being grown on a piece of land, but they follow a particular pattern. This is to share the resources which are insufficient. Then from there, we also look at the patterns of a crop production in the Mbum Plateau, and we noted that most of the farmers were into rain-fed agriculture and doing it more during the rainy season. This is because there is always the availability of moisture to sustain plant growth and avoid plant stunted and agricultural pests and diseases. Just about 29.7% said that they do plant crops in both seasons, that is the rainy season and the dry season. Then the dry season, which is always void of moisture, carries just a small proportion of agricultural activities. Then from here, we had now to analyze the trend of food crop production on the Mbum Plateau, starting from 1990 to about 2021. We started with maize, and analysis shows that from 1990 to about 2004, maize production has been stable. Although there are fluctuations, the fluctuations are having increasing trends. But when we look at 2006 to 7, we discovered that there have been an increase in food crop production. The increase comes as a result of government intervention. During this year, government intervened and donated seeds, improved seed farming tools, and trained farmers on agricultural production, whereas they had now the capability of facing climate variability risks. Then from there, since the government programs could not continue, farmers were lacked what to do, and they were now ineffective in dealing with the challenges. Maize started to drop. It dropped until we have had a drastic drop in 2021. The situation applies to beans production. Then to also work and bring evidence of climate variability on the Mbum Plateau, we had to look at the trends of food crop prices. Here we analyze the minimum and maximum prices of food crops on the Mbum Plateau. And we noted that starting again from 1990 to about 2008, food crop prices were very normal. Farmers could afford, consumers could afford more food during this time. But starting as from 2009, both the minimum and the maximum food crop prices increased. But the increase too is because of the intervention of the new local council. They intervened since consumers were over-exploiting farmers. They had to step in and stabilize prices that doesn't go below the set stage. From there, to also make meaning again and look at how another climate parameter can affect food crop production through prices, we had to analyze average temperatures. We had to divide the years into three. We had 1990 to 1999, 2000 to 2010, 2011 to 2021. From there, we calculated their temperature averages and also price index. Price index shows condition of price of food crop prices. A higher index indicate increasing prices. Then a lower index indicate lower prices. Then we noted that between 1990 to 1999, that had a lower temperature condition of 20.98 degrees Celsius. The price index was 48.40%, which indicated that there were lower prices. Then when between the year 2000 to 2010, temperature condition increased to 21.27 degrees Celsius, and also the price index moved from 48.40 to 112.00%. Then the worst was in the period 2011 to 2021. During this year, temperature also increased to 21.38 degrees Celsius, and food crop prices inflated to about 217.7 degrees Celsius. Of course, the increase in prices in the late period is because of anthropogenic activities which are not well managed, increasing climate variability, adaptation costs, poor capacity of farmers, and so on. Then from here, we had to look at the effects now of food crop production. We have to look now at pre-harvest challenges on food crop production on the Mbum Plateau. Then we noted that one of the highest risks that farmers are facing is the issue of moisture deficiency, as indicated by 26% of the population, followed by rapid soil erosion, which was pointed by 22.6% of the farmers. Post-seed germination also followed suit, as 14.8% indicated that. We also had issue of poor plant reproduction and so on. Then on this plate now, we had to display the issues on pictures. so that people can have a clue of what we are trying to do. Then on this, the first plate, we have waterlogged issues within farmlands. This always happen in the month of April, especially when there are torrential rain. When farmlands are being waterlogged like this, it had to affect plants' root and so on, as parasite bores into the soils and easily eat up the root of plants. Then we have a very sympathized situation here. It's a situation of hailstones. These hailstorms occur around April when plants are always close to flowering. During our focus group discussion, we noted that farmers said that hailstorms occur on the Mbum Plateau within each growing season from about 4 to 5 times. And when this happens, it always destroys most of the crops. Then on place C, we have issue of plant wilting, which comes as a result of dry spells. That's seasonality of rainfall. When this happens, most of the crops dry up. Then here we also have a sympathized situation, moisture deficiency. It is in the month of March, which is the planting month. When this happens now, farmers have to take risks by doing what they call risk planting. Risk planting is a situation where you plant and wait for the rain to come. At times when they plant and rain doesn't come in time, it affects them. And this issue again delay farmers planting. Then we have plate E, which shows pests and diseases infestation on maize. From here, we also had to visualize some of the pre-harvest climate risks on the Mbum Plateau. Then the first plate, we have issue of maize decay, which is always caused by torrential rain during harvest. Then on C, we have issues of beans decay. It is also caused by torrential rainfall during harvest that farmers find it now difficult to preserve them as there's little sunlight. Then we have issue of potatoes blight, which is also due to poor harvest. Then on plate D, we have issue of maize being attacked by weevils. This can happen within farmlands when matured crops have been left for long on the in the farm. Then it can also happen at home level when crops are being poorly preserved in crack banks. From here, we had to analyze crop production periodically, and we noted that the highest year that had much agricultural production was the period between 1990 to 1999. And we noted that from the period 2000 to 2010, farmers on the Mbum Plateau lost 10,927.15091 tons of maize. Then between the period 2011 to 2021, farmers lost maize tons of 46,248.1290991. Then we also look at the trend of beans, because these two crops are the main principal and even cultural products in the area. We noted that beans too was doing very well between the period 1990 and 1999. And from 2000 to 2010, farmers lost 2,559.11818 tons of beans, while between 2011 to 2021, they lost 7,477.12636 tons of beans. From there, we had to also look at the current or the predicted impacts of climate variability, since it's a continuous trend and agriculture is a perennial activity to the Mbum farmers. We had now to look at the predicted impact that will happen with the current climate situation. And we noted that any 1 degree Celsius increase in rainfall on the Mbum Plateau as from now will result to a 190.829 tons of maize yields. Then we also noted that increase in rainfall will lead to an increase of 3.236 tons of maize. Then for beans, we noted that if temperature again increased just of 1 degree Celsius, farmers will lose 218.157 tons of beans, while increase in rainfall will result to a 0.503 increase in the tons of beans. Then from here, we had to look now at implication of poor harvest on farmers and even the proximal and catchment communities within the Mbum Plateau. We noted that falling agricultural yields or poor harvest depicts a lot of implication of farmers. We noted the loss of income as indicated by 22.9% of farmers. Farmers also testify that there is rampant hunger and starvation. there is rising food prices and inability. This caused them to have challenges of affording basic necessities like school fees for children and foodstuff. Then from there, we also look at how farmers now adapt to the challenges of climate variability. We noted that most of them are using agrochemicals. Agrochemicals are a bit effective, but the problem now is accessibility and affordability. So this was indicated by a half, which is 50% of the population. Then 15%, 15.7% of the farmers said that they do crop diversification, while 21, which followed the highest majority, said that they do buy food on annual basis. Then the rest said that they do practice seasonal cropping, which is a situation where you only plant or group crops during the rainy season. Others made mention of crop diversity, improved seed, and so on. Then from there, we had to also visualize some of the adaptation strategies on pictures. Then we look at pharmacy. Pharmacy applies wood ash on maize. Then Pharma D applies application animal waste on maize and boot maize and beans. Then Pharma E applies chemical fertilizer. Of course, there's a challenge here. This organic fertilizer, they are good, but with the rapid falling soil fertility in the Mbum Plateau, their decomposition is very slow, that they cannot catch up with the growing season. And there's a problem of farmer-grazer conflict between farmers, food crop farmers, and grazers, which make it accessibility very, very difficult. Then on plate E, there's the application of agrochemical, which is a bit effective because it decomposes as fast as possible. But the issue here is the cost. Most of agrochemicals are very costly on the Mbum Plateau. So at times, farmers find it very, very difficult to access these agrochemicals. And at the end of the day, since they don't have money, it makes them not to really do well as far as agricultural activities are concerned. Then from here, we also had now to show how farmers are grappling with the issue of post-harvest, because here post-harvest challenges are always the decaying of crops due to poor harvest, the attack of maize by weevils, and so on. Then we will look at it critically. If you look at the first plate, the first farmer ties maize beside the wall to enhance dryness. The second, the farmer C ties beans on bamboo ropes around the compound in order to facilitate dryness. Farmer D ties maize in the kitchen on kitchen roofs in order to facilitate dryness with the heat generated from kitchen activities. Then we have now the last picture, which shows a situation, which shows a local home barn constructed by a farmer with this facility. When all these crops, maize, beans, and the rest, they have dried, they are always transported and saved in this barn, where they are now being sold or being consumed occasionally. From here, we had to discuss the findings of the study. And then we acknowledge that Mbum Plateau has been a very extensive areas of agricultural activities, and climate variability has been happening, and it's very visible on this plateau through the late onset of rainfall, breaking temperature conditions, heat waves, hailstones, late coming of rain, and so on. Then we relate this study to that of Hormel in 2005, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change in 2010, and that of the World Meteorological Organization in 2012. In their scientific papers, they have indicated that climate on Earth is not stable. It keeps fluctuating, having different patterns that affects farmers. Then we also say that the Mbum Plateau we have acknowledged that the Mbum Plateau over time has been a very extensive areas and having heterogeneous population that involves into seasonal planting to sustain their livelihood. However, the incidences of irregular climate conditions have been affecting them. The climate variability has been manifesting or affecting farmers through the unevenly germination of seed, whereas one farmland will have a striving seeds, the other one is patchy, and so on. Then we also have issues of pests and diseases. Their situation, the pests, the existing pests, they are there. But now we have situation of expansion in scope or area extent. Areas which were very favorable with that pest today are experiencing severe pests, weevils, and so on, which are affecting farmers. Then we also have issues of preservation. Farmers, they lack the capacity to preserve their moisture. Then when we relate this work to previous scientific authors, we noted that of Tume in 2020, Baga et al. In 2016, and that of Amawa et al. In 2012, who emphasized that farmers are suffering from the wavering nature of our climate system, which have already said that it manifests through late onset of rainfall, breaking temperatures, heat waves, and so on. Finding shows that increasing temperature conditions have very negative impact on food crop production, while increasing rainfall on the Mbum Plateau can encourage favorable agricultural activities. Failure in agricultural activities result into hunger, starvation, loss of income, conflicts over resources, increased health crisis, unemployment, increased food crop prices, and lastly, and more concern, food insecurity. In the study of Nkuh et al. In 2024, Nkuh concluded that increasing temperatures exhibit negative effects on crop production, while optimal rainfall or increasing rainfall amount were recipes for striving agricultural activities within agricultural milieu. Because of the perennial role of agriculture to the population, effort have not been relented. Farmers have not lied low. They have always tried to impose adaptation strategy to adopt, since it remains the only livelihood option without a second option discovered yet. But because of the issue of poverty, limited income, conflicts, lack of support, poor adoption of innovation, the practice of irrigation, crop diversity, and so on has not been effective, as they can only yield temporary successes without long-lasting effects. However, this was confirmed in the study of Lambi in 2007, Baga et al. In 2016, Kemasong and Yinkfu in 2022, as well as the work of Ngwani and Tume et al. In 2022. It has appeared severally in their scientific papers that the farmers' adaptation strategies are always blunted by limited support from the government, as the government don't even care much on agricultural activities, especially in the continent of Africa, where rainfall is mostly agricultural activities is mostly rain-fed. We now draw conclusion. Climate variability has become a reality on the Mbum Plateau with significant variation. Its effects are instigated by declining trends of rainfall and increasing temperature conditions, which have been associated by extreme weather events such as hailstorm, strong winds, and fluctuating relative humidity. Agricultural activities, which have been significant sources of livelihood to most subsistence farmers, and as well as the proximal and catchment communities on this plateau over the years, have experienced severe decline. This is evidenced by the vulnerability of the intercropping and mixed cropping systems, which are the principal agricultural production system on this plateau. However, much of the cereals as well as tubers the production of cereals and tubers have reduced because of climate variability. It also affects farmers as increasing temperatures affect their health condition. Farmers' adaptation strategies of irrigation, application of agrochemicals, and crop diversity have led to temporary improvements, as they are affected by poverty, limited assistance, and so on. We now conclude that areas within the Mbum Plateau, which were considered as breadbasket, are today facing serious food shortages. Wetlands have become areas of serious conflicts, tensions, and grievances. But the Mbum Plateau, like we earlier said, harbors about 120,911 people who depend on this agriculture. We therefore conclude that agriculture remains the livelihood opportunity to the Mbum Plateau, which can never be undermined. And we then recommend that in order to improve climate resilience and to improve food production on the Mbum Plateau, it is not an action to be taken only by farmers. It is an activity that is interwoven, touching different stakeholders, farmers, local council, government, and so on. But we now recommend that in order to mitigate climate variability trends on the Mbum Plateau, poor farming method like the one we displayed on our work, deforestation, overgrazing, and overexploitation of environmental resources, especially around wetlands and buffer zones, which are the lungs of most communities, should be avoided by the population. More so, information pertaining to weather conditions should be timely and clearly diffused to farmers so that they can take early precautions and also avoid the issue of practicing risk planting. However, in order to also improve soil fertilities, farmers should practice organic farming, agroforestry, crop rotation, while reforestation, mulching, and irrigation should be practiced in order to preserve and enhance the soil moisture. Furthermore, reliable agricultural infrastructures like preservation equipment, improved seed, crop diversity, agricultural training institutions should be developed on the Mbum Plateau by the government, local council, and NGOs in order to improve the resilient capacity of farmers and to enhance the agricultural production system. Then farmers should also maintain high collaboration with agricultural extension workers who are expert in trainings in giving ideas about seed production. If this is well done, I think the Mbum Plateau will be an area of very favorable climatic condition, which will lead to an improvement in food crop production and will stop the issue of hunger and starvation, which will be an achievement for our Sustainable Development Goal 2 and that of Goal 3. Thanks for your keen attention.
Thank you very much, Randy, for this outstanding presentation. And really, this kind of research we need in Africa, because it really, the research is looking on a real problem and suggesting a real solution. Now we maybe would take one or two questions from the audience. Any questions or comments from the audience? Please unmute yourself and ask the question. Any questions or comments from the audience? So I have one question for you, Randy.
Okay, Professor.
In your graph of the raindrop, okay,
yes.
one of your slides on the effect of raindrop. So in 2021, there is a severe drop in the rain, but you did not show any data for 22, 23, or 24. Do you have this data, or what's your explanation? What happened in 2021?
I think I was unable to access the data, but in 2021, the fall in rainfall is because of increasing anthropogenic activities. Nkuh is currently experiencing urban planning, and urban planning comes with urban development comes with the cutting down of trees, the exploitation of wetlands, exploitation of catchment areas, and so on. And we know that these are principal factors that helps in controlling the climate condition of a place. And more to that, rainfall is also declining because of changing natural environment. At times, the climate conditions in a natural way, like the increase in the intensity of sunlight, can influence the rainfall condition of an area. And there are also incidences of the La Nina and El Nino occurring on the Mbum Plateau. And we have incidences of seasonality. Seasonality is also coming, like I said, with the encroachment of urbanization in the area. Most of the wetlands, which are the lungs of the society or the community, have been exploited. And these have now exposed the surface to direct sunlight. And when this happens, there's always abject loss of evapotranspiration, which leads now to dryness. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you very much. I have another question regarding the post-harvest adaptation. Yes. Why do we need that?
All right, Professor. Thank you for the question. Let me get to the slide. Post-harvest adaptation.
Yeah.
Okay, here.
You put the go before that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do we need it? This is the question.
You quite remember from the beginning of the presentation, when I analyzed the rainfall trend, I told you that there have been shifts in the patterns of rain.
Yeah.
At some point, we have seen that rainfall is increasing, but we have an issue of shifting patterns. Of course, when you look at one of the plates, you discover that during the planting seasons, there is moisture deficiency, of which farmers mostly need moisture availability during that period. It rather shifts to the harvesting seasons and falls intensively. When it does now, it falls on agricultural yields. When farmers harvest, it becomes very challenging now to dry them. You know, they're talking about maize. Maize need to be very dry before they can be saved in this barn year. If they are saved there, that they have not yet been well dried up, they will decay. So they not tie like this, like the first plate, they tie like this so that ventilation, wind can come and take away, blow away the moisture and cause the crop to dry as fast as possible. Then here is the same scenario. Here is the same scenario. The heat from the kitchen will help to dry the maize. Then when they are well dried now, they are being transported and saved in this home-based barn where they are now gradually either being consumed or taken to the market for sale.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Randy. Now I would like to invite Dr. Emmanuel Asongelim to just to give few words to close the meeting.
Thank you very much, Dr. Razak. I told you I would not be around, but when I just finished the meeting, I said, let me just come and see how far we are going. So I was not there during the presentation, so I really don't know what he did present, but I think from the way the short time that I came in here, he should be a prolific speaker and also a very good presenter. You know, when you are doing this type of thing and showing us pictures as we are seeing here now, you can also, you don't even need that he explains anything for you. You can easily deduce whatever you can deduce because he has even labeled them. And so I would like to thank him and Dr. Kemaso for the wonderful presentation which they have done. I just wanted to, I can't really know whether this presentation was in a group or is you that sat down to do this presentation. Is it your group? Because I know they shared, they were grouped, they were put into groups. Mm-hmm. So I don't know whether this is your own group.
No, the groups in our class we have divided. We have group researches that we are doing. This was a personal invitation by the Society for African Risk to do the presentation.
Ah, okay. The African risk which you are heading, Dr. Razak, the African risk analysis.
Yes.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Yes.
I see.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Asongelim. Thank you very much, Randy. And thank you all the audience for this great session. And we see you next time in another Society of African Risk Analysis seminar. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh.
Good job, Randy. Good job. Very good job. Thank you.